Newly appointed Chairman, Rivers State Electoral Commission, Dr. Ekpai Odey, has pledged to chart a new course, one rooted in transparency, neutrality, and institutional integrity. Speaking before the Senate Ad Hoc Committee constituted to oversee the Rivers State emergency rule at a screening session, Odey confronted the elephant in the room, a widespread belief that local elections in Nigeria are stage managed by governors through compromised electoral commissions. There is a loss of confidence and the subject is controversial, he admitted. People believe governors use these institutions to mortgage integrity. That's my honest view. Odey, however, insisted his tenure would be different. I am not from Rivers State. I owe no one allegiance but to the law. I will not be influenced. I will keep to the rules, procedures, and timelines, he declared. Regarding the legality of his appointment, being from Cross River State, Odey expressed his readiness to comply with the law while urging for clarity. President Bola Tinubu, in separate letters forwarded to the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and read at plenary on June 12, 2025, sought the appointments of nominees into the Rivers State Electoral Commission, the Rivers State Local Government Service Commission, and the Rivers State Civil Service Commission. The committee commenced screening of the nominees on Tuesday. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning to do justice to this story and more is David Oguzierem. David Oguzierem is a journalist and also a political analyst. Good morning, David, and welcome.
Good morning, Nigeria.
David, what do you make of this position of the newly elected RISIEC chairman? That is number one. Number two, what is your take on elections being conducted, local government elections being conducted on the local government, on that emergency rule in Rivers State?
Actually, it is to establish first if the emergency rule has been worthwhile. Are we supposed to have it at this time? Comparing the negativity and the positivity, what do you feel as a people? There has been condemnations against it, and there are some persons too who believe that is the best way to set the template for reconciliation between the one partner. Having said that, the truth is that the current administrator has no business with conducting local government elections, in my own view. The Constitution, I don't think, gave him such powers. Even he's been here in the first instance, the president has no power to remove an elected governor and to install a new person as the governor or administrator or whatever nomenclature we use in the state. Now, and again, I've searched through the constitutions and the laws of Nigeria. I didn't see anywhere that he was given any powers to conduct elections. Now, some persons will argue that state of emergency comes with abnormalities, and perhaps part of the abnormality that we're seeing is that an administrator should conduct local government elections. An institution or a government, a self-appointed, and because the president is almost like the one managing the state, so he made himself the governor of Rivers State, cannot promote democracy and cannot help to midwife a democratic structure. We have seen within the last 3 months that the current administrator and its executives are at different AGA levels. The administrators they appointed, they are alienated from the people. There is no relationship. I've taken my time. Yes, we have had structures in Rivers State for the past several years that are not really doing anything. Local government chairman and councillors, they come to loot and loot and loot. Yes, I know. But somehow, from my own view, they have been more beneficial to the people than the current setting. Honestly, I have not seen the administrator go around to visit any ward or local government. There's no relationship between the current administrators in various AGs and the towns, the communities they are supposed to govern. In fact, there is no constituted local government structure that will help them to govern the areas.
Isn't that why this local government election at this point is expedient? One would say, isn't that why the local government elections is expedient? That's number one. Number two, you mentioned the sole administrator, visiting the wards as it were. He is not a politician. Maybe we should understand that. He is not a politician, and his emergence as the sole administrator is not based on the participation of these wards. It is purely existing by appointment and by the mandate of the president. So don't you think paying visits to this ward, as it were, across these political parties and divides has political undertone, and that's not why he is here in the first instance?
No, the basic reason why anybody should be appointed to lead the state or local government is to govern. That is the primary responsibility, and you cannot govern without the people. There must be a relationship between you and the people for you to govern them. You cannot sit somewhere in government house and be dishing out orders. Why then did we say, look, we don't want military government, we want a civilian government? Because we want an interface. Now, the truth is, appointing the state administrator is wrong, ab initio. Now, whatever they are doing again may not likely work out. We know how elections are conducted everywhere. There will be campaigns. There will be who will lead the campaign, for example. Yes, I overheard my brother talking about the sitting governor leading the campaign for his political party. All right. So, if, for example, we have a democratic elected governor, he will lead the campaign for his own party. Okay. Yes, someone will say that has made it to look a bit biased. But
a bit
to look.
Can you in recent times tell me one state in Nigeria that the RISIEC of the state conducted election and it was not, the seats were not overwhelmingly won by the ruling party?
No.
I mean, Abia State, for example, the governor took the election, his people, to another party, not Labour Party, I think Senate Labour Party, the ZLP, and they won the seats. In River State, the suspended governor Simlaye Fubara took his own people to APP, and they won all the seats except for one. And in all the states, that is practically what has been happening. So, would you say that was democratic election? Would you say that the outcome of these elections were the mandate of the people? Where did these elections reflect the decision of the masses? Were these elections, are they free and fair? They were conducted by democratically, in quotes, I'm also putting in quotes, in the democratically elected governors, right? But then the outcome of these elections, have they been free and fair? Is there trust deficit between the people and the CX, as it were?
Well, we cannot just separate local government elections. There has never been elections, genuine elections in Nigeria.
So why
let's begin from there.
Why then, if you have agreed that we've not had genuine elections in Nigeria,
yes,
and these elections were being conducted by elected governors, or as it were as well, then you now have a sole administrator who is not from River State, RISIEC chairman, who incidentally is not from River State, and interestingly from the same state as the sole administrator, and he's saying that I'm not from here. So don't you think probably let this experiment happen and let's see how it plays out?
If that is where you are driving to, the current administrator, Ebas, and the Odey they are appointing now as the head of RISIEC. Honestly, their election will be worse than that which is being conducted by elected governors.
Why do you say that?
The reality is somebody sent Ebas to River State. Ebas didn't just fly that to River State. Now, the list of administrators of various local governments that the appointments administrators, it is not Ebas that appointed them. Ebas doesn't know who is Mr. Wamko, who is my administrator of my local government, the local government. Ebas doesn't know him. Someone somewhere wrote the names of the 23 administrators and handed over to Ekpai to announce. Right? Now, the list of the persons he saw there as members of the RISIEC, Ekpai never don't have any relationship with any of them. Most of them are from River State, apart from the chairman who is from Cross River State. Somebody sent their names.
Now,
somebody will decide who will become the chairman, not Ekpai. Ekpai only announce whatever is given to him.
This election, wouldn't it, are political parties not going to participate?
Come again?
Are political parties not going to participate?
Definitely,
in this
like they've always done before.
Like they've always done before,
Yes.
which means everybody will, it's going to be more of a level playing ground.
There's not like level playing ground. In fact,
like
if there will be election next 3 months, it has been decided. Currently, they know who will be the chairman. It has been decided.
You're right.
The councillors, as I talk with you, I'm a Rivers person, all the informations are behind. We know who will be who.
All right.
In fact, from my local government, I can tell you the 3 persons they have selected.
Can you mention them?
I won't mention them here. For the relationship I have with them, I wouldn't do that.
I want to confirm.
No, for the relationship I have with them, I can do that behind, but I can't do that right here.
Or you can do that behind, but
Yeah,
you cannot do that
not
right
the public. So I can maintain my relationship with them. It's too early to announce their names.
Okay, very well. Chizzy, what do you make of this position?
You know, you're just taking me back. Well, let's get to that angle. I like his choice of words. He said, number one, that he has not seen the sole administrators. He has not seen the local government sole administrators, of course, reach the people at the grassroots. You know, I don't argue with somebody's own side or perspective. You know, all I will say is that I have seen the sole administrators go around to consult the people. Now, when you go to consult the people, you're not consulting. Don't mix it up. You see, the world is not just made up of PDP, APC, and all of that. You know, we have the CDC, we have the traditional rulers that so that people can consult. So that's number one. And then again, I'm just coming because I want to build up something from what I was just reacting to what he said.
All right.
He said in the first instance that all of these sole administrators, that, well, Ekpai didn't know them.
The local government sole administrators.
Yes, that Ekpai didn't know them, and so that somebody wrote, he was speaking authoritatively, and you know how I speak. If I know that somebody has done that, I will call the person's name. That's my kind of person. But let me leave him to his own kind of person. But you see, he says he does not know them to know. But let me tell you, if you have been in government, by the grace of God, I've been in government. If you have been in government, it takes the intelligence of somebody for just 2-3 weeks to know who to appoint. He can do that. It's all is intelligence gathering. I'm not saying that there may not have been influence. There is no government in the world that appointment of 1 or 2 persons may not be influenced by somebody. So sometimes in Nigeria we argue maybe because it was not influenced by my own sentiment. That's why it's not good. We wouldn't bring angels. We will bring human beings to preside over those local governments, isn't it? They have talked about the RISIEC, appointment of the RISIEC. And he said, and I think one mark difference between that appointment and this appointment is that as chairman of RISIEC, for instance, when the man said, I'm not from River State, he's made a very, how do I say, a very silent point there, that I'm not from River State. You know why? There is nobody that will be appointed in River State that will not have an uncle or a brother or an uncle who knows one uncle and uncle and uncle. That in the first place sets the stage for bias. It just set the stage for bias. But when you have a chairman who is not from River State in the first instance, so if you have to do whatever, you have to go back to that place. But at least I have said one short thing that will not happen is that a boss will not go to local government to supervise the campaign. He will not go to local government to campaign for anybody. That's one short thing. Is that, do we agree or not? We all agree. He also has considered the fact that a democratically elected, I'm not saying that's not good, the democratically elected governor will have to go to campaign. Influence is not just by money. When you have in our kind of the poverty of intellect that we have, in our kind of system, when a governor is campaigning for a local government chairman and councillor, you already know where it is going. No wonder you will find out that the least attended election in Nigeria has always been local government election. People don't, I have not, in fact, for some time, I have not voted for any local government election. As a person, look at me, as big as I am, as a politician that I am. For the past 10 years, I have not voted in any local government election. The reason is simple. Why would I go to vote? I already know where they're going. Do you even know this APP own that they voted? In fact, I was in my ward that day. I came to my ward and came to this studio. Maybe if you forgot, I came to this studio and I said, "Where is the election holding?" I only heard 2 weeks after that the election of my ward was held in Elele.
Why is your ward?
My ward is normal. Was 7. That the election was held in Elele. So you understand that what that means. That so if the election was held, so was my mother taken to Elele? My parents were taken to Elele. Were we taken to Elele? And we were just there eating and drinking because we didn't know what was happening. That's because there's a presiding governor who is already biased, who has told people he's biased. Now we are having. You see, we must differentiate this whole thing with certain necessity. We must give it a necessity approach. A bus came. If a bus had come as as sole administrator, which had happened, of course, Obasanjo did declare state of emergency and the governor was suspended because we need to understand the clear definition of a state of emergency. Now, if a bus had come and we had a local government, that would have been I said a local government is a total government, so there was no way he could have dissolved them or do otherwise. But his hands are tied, as all of us must help to ensure peace. I enumerated certain things. I'm campaigning for peace. That sometimes the reason why I referred us to 1999 was that in the quest to having a democracy, that people who stole power, not appointed by any elected somebody anyway, who took gun and became head of states and all of that, gave us a constitution, gave us INEC, gave us election and registered us political party, and we are certain it as democratic. Now an elected president has brought a elected shadow of Higgs, which is his appointee, in the absence of a known government, as court have said so, and brought that. The merit or otherwise of the merit of that thing is becoming academic, because the National Assembly accepted that we are even going to the 3rd month, and of course the man is going to finish his 6 months. And so in those 6 months we are also unwinded by a court judgment that says that the local government elections. No, the local government elections were non and void, and so cancelled local government elections. So we're in a situation where I came here and said, how can you allow the local government civil servants to now lead us until when we elect people? I said no, that will not be. That's having an accounting officer being the approving officer. I'm the treasurer. I am the one signing and the one approving. That's what it means. So you are just going to have one signatory signing, and that's all. With the democracy, so and I said we must give it this tone of necessity that the man should have a sole administrator to be appointed. But this sole administrator must be somebody. It could have been me, it could have been any other person. Thank God it's not me, because that one would be obvious. They'll say Cheese is a politician. Obvious. What people are saying is, oh, these persons are known by somebody. You know that nobody has actually accused them of being partisan. What they have accused them is that somebody is suspecting somewhere. That is just mere suspicion. That somebody is suspecting, and maybe it has happened, or maybe it didn't happen, but somebody must recommend somebody to somebody. And so these guys are this. And now even them cannot even follow the politicians to campaign in the wards. So it looks to me that if the governor cannot lead the campaign, and the local government administrators will not lead the campaign, assuming they are doing something secretly, I don't give her that, but I don't also want to suppose that, because what I can assume here can also be assumed the other way. Now, assuming that they are doing it secretly, or assuming also that they are not doing it secretly, but that one short thing is that openness, that coming out to say this is the person, will not be there. The sole administrators of local government will not also go leading the campaign. You know what else is telling us? That's telling APP, that's telling APC, that's telling AA, that's telling other political party that please try. This is what happened in 1999. That democracy, quote unquote, threw in people unemployables. Because in 1990, 1991, if you saw the level of the National Assembly and House of Assembly we had, you will know that people left their job to come and contest. And there were those who had something, they were coming up with experience, they were doing something. So when they annoyed that election, they fear gripped them. They started looking for a job and went back to job. So in 1999, they didn't trust the system, and those who didn't have job got it. That's what happened. That's why you see that 1999, especially in River State, were laced with 80% of people who were jobless, because most of those who had jobs didn't trust the system. God has opened another opening for us. We have people coming from other places. We are still thinking somebody, for the person to have come like this, somebody will come and do like this, for the person to have come like this. Because I can tell you that right now, the undercurrent that is happening, especially in I'm a politician, that's happening in my local government. Let me tell you, some group of people came to me and said, come and run for local government chairman with another party. And I said, the only reason why I'm not running, because I know a party who is taking my younger brother. And I said, let me not run with this young man. Let me just not run with this young man. People are ready to contest the election. Maybe it will throw in them. Then we will not come to regret it. That's what happened. That you now saw people like Uchechukwu Muredi. They come in 2003.
So in your opinion, this election might be unprecedented
unprecedented, but we should give it a try and run for it. River State people, God has opened up another opportunity.
Because you feel that there will be minimal interference from the executive.
In the first instance, no executive will go and campaign.
He is seeing an opportunity. I am seeing a doomsday.
Why do you think it a doomsday?
How is Lagos wrong since 1999? Lagos is being coordinated by somebody who believes that every governor of Lagos State must come through him. And since 1999, after he left office in 2007, every governor of Lagos State has come through him. In fact, one of the governors, Ambode, that refused to honor the deal 100% as agreed, was removed after tenure. That is the person that removed the governor of River State, and that is the person that is saying go and do local government elections. Now, we're in a situation where every local government gets their fund directly from the federation accounts. They don't need any governor. They don't need any jack meeting. Now, we have someone like Tinubu, and it seems Tinubu will allow you to somebody who has superintended over a system where he must bring the senators, he must approve the House of Reps, he must approve the House of Assembly. Just recently, the Assembly met and said, look, this speaker is not doing well. Let's throw him out and get a new speaker. And they did exactly that. Because the speaker was his boy, he reversed the removal of a speaker that was coordinated and impeached by members of the House of Assembly. He ensured that they reversed the order. Now, that's the person that you will tell me to believe that he will give us a paradise kind of election in River State. Secondly, the person who was responsible for choosing the sole administrators in various LGAs is the current FCT minister.
Are you serious?
Now, my local government administrator was his PAMSEC in government house, Mr. Wanko. Right? So now we know the antecedent of the FCT minister for the past 10 years in River State. We saw how he ran his elections. We saw how he led River State. I don't need to rehearse it. We all know that if you said you cannot, you cannot. How did the governor even come instance? Honestly, the current governor was not eligible to be a governor, in the sense that he's a politician. He has never campaigned in his life anywhere. I'm being neutral. How do you think I'm with him? I will even lash him if I have an opportunity. He has never campaigned anywhere. I have done more campaign than him. I had participated in more elections than him. Now, from nowhere, you threw away those who perhaps understand River State. The politics of River State is a unique state. You got to understand the state before you govern the state. The current governor, Sefobad, doesn't understand River State. He's a novice in the system. Now, somebody somewhere say it must be him. And that person brought him by fire, by force. And a lot of things happen in the process of bringing him up. Now, such a person is the person who has gone ahead to ensure that whether legal or illegal, because the same election you say was like my brother was trying to explain, I can never argue. The election that brought the past local government chambers didn't meet the standards of the law. Same likewise the one just Wike did in the past. I agree with that. But now you went to court and nullified them. Fine and good. Now they played a script by which him piloted the system where let's impeach him. As you are putting pressure to impeach him, then there were skirmishes of let's blow bomb here as a way of to cause a kind of tension in the state so that the president can I conclude?
throw the bomb.
Hold on, please.
The bomb was masterminded by the system from federal government.
That's an allegation.
The governor didn't attempt to do anything that had to do with the bomb.
Hold on, David.
Yes.
I will pause you there.
You say I should mention now. I'm saying that you say.
Hold on.
You're not supposed to mention this now. Mention this now. You are scared.
Hold on. I am not scared.
Okay.
Nah, that's never say that. Laurentia is never scared.
But who said I should mention names? Now give you the names.
However, I like being factual.
Okay.
When you say so and so happened, that this bomb that were being thrown, the pipeline explosions were being masterminded by the federal government.
Yes.
That is a strong allegation that I hope that when you're being called upon, you can defend.
So who did it?
Now, hold on. Let's take us back to, was it October 20, was it October or September 2024, when the tenure of the local government chairman expired. And they were saying that the River State House of Assembly had extended their tenure by 6 months. And the governor, the suspended governor then was insisting that they have to go out. And the governor did not respect the decision or the law that was passed by the River State House of Assembly. As Abuja, aka the general, did a viral video where he called on the governor and whoever to fund him. He said that that they are coming into the creeks, that they are coming into the River State, that this the then local government chairman, we are going to leave on the day that their tenure expired, and that any other thing that you're saying will not hold water. That video was played on this station. We had conversation around that video. And guess what? On that day, these men, there were videos of them. In fact, there was another video of Asabuja going around to greet his people, and he was sharing drinks to them. They were all heavily armed. Fast forward to that day of the local government, the day the tenure expired, there was serious crisis in River State. The people, the outgone local government chairman with their people, as Abuja on the other hand with their people, there was serious clash. A policeman died in the process. There were civilian casualties as well. We cannot take away that event because lives matter, and lives went down on that day. And then in the aftermath of that, the suspended governor had a press conference where he addressed the press. And I quote him. He said that he has gotten information that there is a plan to arrest his boys, his people, that they will go through him before they arrest anybody that is working for him. The governor said that on television. He said that in a press conference. Now, fast forward to the actions of the
he didn't say his voice.
Hold on.
He didn't say his voice.
Hold on, please. He said the people that are loyal to him, that there is a plot, and he also made some serious allegations against the police force.
And which is true? Which I am confident is true.
Hold on. Fast forward to the actions of the IYC, the Ijaw Youth Council, and the INC also. They met threats. That were strong. They met threats.
So what has happened? Now that the governor has been removed, why have they carried the threat? Why is there no shooting?
Hold on, please.
For 3 months, governor has been removed. No shooting.
David, you have
script.
Hold on.
I'm just waiting.
I'm bringing out these things because you have accused the federal government of masterminding explosions in River State, on River State soil. That is a strong allegation. However, I am bringing out things that happened and the actors, non-state actors, what they said and what they did.
So why is that a bombing? That's what I'm saying. Why is that a bombing?
Hold on.
Because there is somebody who knows what to do.
At the end of the day, David. At the end of the day, David.
What do you do? We have been the first thing. We have seen bombings. We have seen installation being destroyed. Since the government has removed, why has that been nothing?
David Oguzere, did people, was there any threat by any group at any point in time to detonate pipelines.
Those things were initiated by
hold on.
It's not Sefobara. It's a system. People who want to resolve those things.
I want to remind you.
It's a script.
Wait now.
Those people you see talking those things that you saw that you didn't know they are.
Larisha, you want us to shout like this? Because I waited for him. I wanted to respond.
David, when there was an actual threat of the impeachment of the governor, after the Supreme Court judgment came and the governor was dilly-dallying to submit the budget, and there were now actual threats coming out of impeachment, were there groups that came out to threaten that River State will burn if the governor is being impeached? Are these groups new? Did they even bring up ethnic sentiments when they are making those threats? With regards to River State pipeline explosion, groups made threats.
Now the government has
An ethnic group made threats. No,
why have they not carried out? That's my question.
I am bringing this to you because for some reason you appear to forget the actions of the non-state actors and what they actually did, and you are alleging the federal government. I am saying this because before we leave this show, even if I don't achieve anything, I will achieve you proving beyond reasonable doubt that the federal government orchestrated the explosion of pipelines in River State in order to remove the governor or in order to declare state of emergency.
Larisha.
Before you have your say, I need David to explain that. David, do you have the floor?
All right. There is a predetermined plan to ensure that the governor was removed. Now, we remember the 8-point agenda. We are in a state where validly elected assemblies willingly, without intimidation, left the political party that elected them. And the constitution was clear on that. That the moment you leave the platform that brought you to office,
you have forfeited your right to be a member of the assembly. The very day they did that, another person, the few who were remaining, headed by Edison, took over the assembly, and they were validly expelled from the assembly. Now, when they went to Mr. President for discussions, Mr. President, in that meeting, for those who were there, was not there, said whether he will throw away the children that were born to him. So the president accepted them. We saw in the open, all of us witnessed them openly identifying with their new political party. And that means they are no longer members of the PDP, they are not members of APC, and therefore they cannot continue. The constitution did not say go to court to get an order to remove them. The moment you defect on that particular political party, you have lost the right to be a member of the assembly. Then they went for Mr. President for the 8-point, he brought the 8-point agenda, and part of it was still respecting and honoring people who have left the assembly. Now, that happened to be the genesis of the crisis that have led us far. I don't want to go back to the reason why the governor wanted to be impeached and then why he didn't impeach, but now the multi-assembly-led assembly automatically does not exist in the eyes of the law. Now, beginning from then, the governor was intimidated to go and honor the 8-point agenda, which was undemocratic. He came back and reversed people who were working with him. So he said, no, this is undemocratic. A president cannot sit in Abuja and give you direct instructions on what to do. But from then, the decision has been taken. How do we remove him? Now, like elections is conducted, even in Lagos State, there has never been a valid elections. That is the reason why the president currently must bring whoever is the governor, senator, even local government chairman. Same process have handled River State, and then they used the court to nullify it. They removed all the local government chairman. Now, they use same constitution. The remaining local government, the remaining assemblymen passed the budget.
Larisha, it looks like you want me to interject. That is why you don't.
No, interject.
I thought he had his.
No, I'm giving you a story.
And then I'm not coming back.
Is the federal government?
No. You know
all the crisis that you witness in the state is orchestrated by the federal government.
You have said so.
Just because the secondly, an accusation was never.
This thing you are doing is my place. It's what I do.
That the governor,
I don't know why you are allowing this. No, I don't like it.
Give me 2 minutes more. That the governor is working with Atiku that most of the people also now para Limeba, all of them, the Atiku people. The allegation is that they are not working for the presidency. You are working for Atiku. So therefore, the government was a target. Whatever you see in Rivers State is purely federal government plan and orchestrated. It's a script. It's a script.
All right.
And I can defend that anywhere, anytime, any day.
All right. Now, what you have said so far, you have not actually come out to give concrete instance of how the federal government masterminded explosions in Rivers State. Chizi, you have the floor.
Firstly, see, when people talk, I listen to them because you know why I'm a little bit weak. All these issues we have, had conversation on them, and so bringing them back for me is something the court has ruled. So, but apart from that, what I like in his talk is that he has accepted that there were threats. Where the threat is coming from is no longer an issue. There was a threat. Now the question is, when those threats were on, did the suspended governor come to say, I reject, no, this threat, come to address the public to say, this threat they are giving, I am not in it. Did he say so? No. Did he say, I disown them? No. Instead, she's even quoted another one. Let me quote the one that I know. Instead, he came and said, hey, youth, wait. Don't carry on this thing. When this thing happens, when the time comes, I will call you. Openly. So, he has not. Let me tell you what happens to governance. If I know that I'm not, even if I'm the person, not talking about when I'm not the person, even if I was the person funding that kind of thing, I will come to the public and address the state and reject it and say, what you are saying, I'm not for it, or I don't like this thing. This thing cannot happen. Don't threaten the country. That's what a governor will say. So if a governor keeps quiet, it means that the governor is the one doing it. And in the first instance, something happened even before the 8-point agenda you are talking about. Something happened. Now the Rivers State House of Assembly was bombed. We know those who bombed it. Now ADC bombed it. We know now, and that's the chief of staff. Don't you know?
I don't know.
So you don't know?
Alleged, I don't know.
No, I'm telling you that. I am not telling you that he was the person who bombed it. Why? Let me tell you why. He has been declared wanted.
Did you see him?
He was declared wanted.
The point here is this.
No,
with regards to Edison, no court of law has come out to say you're guilty. You could base your argument on the fact that he was suspended based on the bombing of the Rivers State House of Assembly complex. However, the details of that investigation by Rivers State House of Assembly was not made public.
Thank you.
Right.
No, I'm telling you.
So
that
it will be tricky if you say Edison bombed it.
I am not telling you that the same way he knows the federal government. Like I've said, that we are threats.
It's a court with make for that, and maybe he'll take it to court.
Now the federal government will call you.
The court with make.
The federal government will call you to prove that they were the one who must manage it.
The crisis in Rivers State.
Yes.
It's the federal government.
No, you said bombing.
Now he now based his argument on that since this man came
was
in.
there any bombing in Rivers State?
Allow me now. See, that's I do this. You are doing very well.
Okay, go ahead.
That's my kind of
you go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm just coming down. So I listened to you say that upon the coming in of the sole administrator, that the people couldn't carry it again. I know that those people who were saying were cowards. We already knew. If you noticed then, I was on air telling you that those people cannot carry out any threats should anything happen. That even if they impeach Fubara, that because the people that I know, the Rivers State politicians that I know, I told you that time that those Rivers State politicians, don't forget that all of the people he mentioned their name, I respect, I don't want to mention their name, all those who followed Fubara, 80% of those who followed Fubara were Fubara's enemy when he wanted to contest for election. Don't forget, those were the people that they quarreled Wike, telling Wike that how can we go and serve you and serve your boy. But as soon as Fubara emerged, they came back. They are urging any government in power. So I told you then that even if Fubara was impeached that day, that these people will turn around and support the person that's the acting governor. I told you that. That is good to support. That's the Rivers State. So not carrying that threat is something that I know. I know the kind of people that will say those kind of things that happen. These persons cannot. We have said it. We have challenged. I've challenged Sari on this issue. After I challenge Sari, we know what you can do. We know how many times you can change. We know how many times you can. He has gone back to say Tinubu is the person. Now he talked about Tinubu, in Lagos State. It's a democratically elected government, and he's been there. We have assembly members who were PDP members in Lagos State. Lagos State in 2023, Tinubu lost election to Labour Party. I mean, that strong man, the Tinubu, that means that if he lost election in his own state, the state that he can say anything, why did he lose election? He would have as well had announced that those elections. All I tell Rivers people is don't be too suspicious of a system because you believe that this system will not work. And I mentioned, I told us that in 1999 we had an issue that made people throw in themselves. Others who wanted to run election couldn't run election for fear of it could have been manipulated, it could have been done this and that, and it was going to end. But that an opportunity has come back again for us. Let me tell you, he said, okay, Tinubu will influence it. Tinubu is in Abuja. He's not going to come to campaign. The State Electoral will not campaign. At least there is 1% of non-interference that we should know, if not for anything. But this one, you already knew that the governor that will intervene, that will interfere in those RISIEC, is the one coming to tell the people, please vote this man because I'm going to interfere. But this one will not vote. Let us see whether there is something we can do to move away from this. What will the man do? Not contest election, and that this result will be there, and then Sim will come, if Sim comes, and then Sim will come. When he comes back, then he will now go to move to constitute election. He will now constitute a caretaker in the next. So Rivers State will be like in this caretaker status for the next 1 year. Why not conduct election? What is the fear of people conducting election? I mean, he has the right to conduct election, and I believe that this election is going to become well, and I think that people will regret it. I don't know who caused the crisis, but he agrees with me that there were threats. I didn't know. He also agrees with me that upon the resumption of the sole administrator, the people couldn't carry out their threat. And I also know that that means that
there were actual pipeline explosions before the sole administrator came.
Before the sole,
there were actual pipeline explosions.
Yes, of course. No.
There were actual pipeline explosions.
Before
the state of emergency.
You know why I'm not taking him on it? He said
declared.
Look.